insurance. And he was running around trying to get insurance, and it was aggravating time like you can't believe. And the board, which consisted of Kenny Rogers and Harry Belafonte and Michael Jackson, who never showed up but one time, and Marlon Jackson and Cragen, myself, Lloyd Gregg. I'm missing several people. We were at each other's throats on this thing as to whether we can carry off this Heads Across America. And I said, okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to get together on the Saturday afternoon at our house here in the dining room. And we're going to thrash this out, because if we can't make a decision today, we have to shut this down. We have to shut this down. So everybody came up here on Sunday afternoon. And Teresa's idea at the time was, she went out and got cap pistols.
What?
Cap pistols.
Oh, cap pistols.
And we had a whole dining room table set up for everybody. And put a cap pistol at each place setting. Where everybody, Quincy Jones was also part of it. And when everybody walked in, I looked at the table with the guns. They all fell apart laughing, and we solved the problem.
Who knew Doris was such a mastermind? This is a revelation, and a good one at that.
It was her idea.
It's a really good story. So the last thing then, over the course of that career, what is like your biggest regret? Something that you either did or didn't do that you consider to be your biggest regret?
My biggest regret is I didn't continue playing for another 5 years professionally.
Why is that? What is another 5 years? Given the amazing professional legal career you've had, why not playing for another 5 years? Because that's a very precise figure.
I was having fun. I was having great gigs. I was playing with Sinatra. I played with Nat Cole. I was playing with the LA Philharmonic. I did a solo with a saxophone solo with the LA Philharmonic. I was featured on a thing. I was working record dates day and night. I was having the time of my life, even though I had my law degree, was practicing somewhere in between. I said, I think I gave up. I quit a little too early.
So is it fair to say, you tell me, but you wanted another 5 years, but this would have been, sounds like in, I don't know, early 1950s or something. Would that be like the favorite time of your life? That period of time?
I don't know what my favorite time of life. I can't say what that is, but I can say that. Let's see. I started practicing part-time, middle to late 50s, full-time probably early 60s is my guess, or late 50s, somewhere in that vicinity. But I was working some really good gigs, and I wish I had another 5 years to play.
All right. Let me shut this off. We'll end here. 1 hour and 2 minutes. So I owe you, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So I owe you 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Sorry, I'm coming back on just for...
I'm going to be giving a thank you speech coming up shortly, in the middle of the month. I'm getting an award from one of the organizations that you know, I can't remember, coming up in December here at Lowry's. I'll tell some stories there.
Yes, but I want the stories here as the point. One of those stories, before I forget it, because I was thinking about it the other day, I'd love you to tell, is this story. These are the types of stories that I'd like to get from you. But if you could tell just this one so we can wrap it. And that was, you had, actually, there are two stories here. The first one with, and I'll make it up, I'll be shorter next time, but we're going to go couple minutes extra. The first story is the time you got a call from somebody about threatening to sue Lionel Richie. That story, and then the story about the kid who wanted to know from Mel Brooks you know what I'm talking about, right? So start with the Lionel Richie story. Tell that one real quick.
Want me to tell you now?
Yeah. I was just while I'm thinking of it. Yes.
Okay. Well, that one. He wrote a song called "Wandering Stranger."
That's okay.
And I got a call one day, and the receptionist says, some weird guy on the phone. I said, okay, I'll talk to him. I said, yeah. He says to me, you represent Lionel Richie? I said, yes, I do. And he says, he wrote a song called "Wandering Stranger." I said, yes, that's correct. Why? Well, I'm going to sue. And I said, you're going to sue? Why are you going to sue? He said, because I'm that stranger.
Which is a great story, and part of what I want to talk about next time is with that backdrop, just because you always talk about where there's a hit, there's a writ,
right.
And I want to talk a little bit about that. Any stories that you have along those lines, but I want to end with the Mel Brooks story, just on this particular subject, the history of the world. The question that you got from a kid.
The history of the world, yeah. There's a scene in History of the World Part 1 in which Mel is portraying Moses, and he's coming down from the mountain, and he says, I have here 15 commandments. I have here the 15, and he trips and falls, and 5 of them get smashed, and he picks up the rest. He says, I have here the 10 commandments. So I get a call from a girl. She said, not a call, a letter. I don't know where that letter is, but I remember it. She said, I'm having my bat mitzvah, and I'm giving a talk, and I'd like my talk to be about the 5 commandments that broke. Can you put me in touch with Mel Brooks?
And then you told Mel Brooks about this,
yes,
right?
I did.
And what was his reaction?
He thought it was very amusing. I don't know whether he ever contacted her or not. That I don't know.
Did you ever find the 5 commandments?
I am also curious about what those other 5 commandments were. Last one, just because I'm lumping these together for just cohesiveness. You've got a great letter hanging on your wall from, I guess, an NBC executive about the Seinfeld show. Tell me about that.
Right. The letter basically is a letter not addressed to me. It was addressed to the various executives at NBC. A review of the first Seinfeld show saying basically the characters are unsympathetic. I have to read. I haven't read it in a long time. Basically, character he doesn't see anything about this show why it would succeed in any way. Basically, goes on and on. It's a long letter. I should reread it. I don't remember all the details.
So basically, this NBC executive was saying the Seinfeld show was going to be a bomb.
It's a loser, right?
It was a loser. Yeah, that's a good letter to frame.
Huh? I haven't framed it.
All right, we can read the letter later. I'm going to end here.